Alright, today I'm going to be doing a quick rundown of the Blender to Unreal bridge that is found in the Open Virtual Film project and how to set it up. First thing you need to do is download the Open Virtual Film project from the website, clicking the Download Project button. That will pull a zip file, which after you unzip it, you can open the project by double-clicking the UE4 Material Shader Library U project, and you need to make note of what path you have associated with this. It's important to set this path before you start working on anything else. With the path in hand, I'm going to open Blender and install the plugin, which is Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, Install, put in my file path that I grabbed earlier. It's in the Documentation folder under OVFB Blender to Unreal Bridge, and install. Once that's installed, I can tick the Enable button, and before I do anything else, I need to set where I'm going to be exporting files to. This tool creates a mirror directory of every export that you do for handing off to a VFX house later. Right now, if I'm not working in a Perforce project though, or with a server, I generally set the FBX export path to this to my Unreal project path in an imports folder. I can also click this little folder icon and set it here. Alright, so I've got that running. The new tool can be found under the Tools docking bar on the right hand side. Click the N key if it's not visible, and I have a Blender to Unreal bridge. Under the setup, before I do anything, I'm going to run this Blender to Unreal set default units. That sets my unit scale to 0.01 and my length to centimeters. This just helps with the conversion to Unreal and removing the weird scale issues that go with that. So now I've got that up and running, I'm going to make a real quick scene of 3 objects and start filling out my information. At the top is the import type. If I'm working on an assetized workflow, I'll use an asset. However, most of the time I'm working in a scene-based workflow. Similar to how the set designer works, I want to import the entire laid out set how I've designed it into Unreal. Assets are singular objects and a little bit more constrained in what you can and can't do with them. So I select scene. I'm going to import it into the cat house environment. And this is going to be new furniture. Drop in my initials really quickly. See, I've got the right asset type. If I'm working on a scene, it's always static mesh. And then if I have materials going, you'd see I've got a duplicate material here. If I hit the remove duplicate materials, it'll solve that problem. Going further down into the cleanup, if I was coming from a program like Rhino and I needed these two meshes to join together, I would probably go through and join them with this quick clean button. And if I needed light maps because I was baking lighting and didn't have the time to do light maps, I can generate quick light maps on each object. Next section is naming conventions. General rule is run each of them. You'll see it'll do all of the naming convention mess for you. And then go down to the export panel. So I've got my scene set up. This is how I want it to show up in Unreal. I've got Unreal open to the side here. Now I'm going to hit this Export for Unreal button. That puts an FBX and several associated files inside that mirrored folder that I was talking about earlier. Hit the Send to Unreal button, ignore the error if it pops up, and wait on the side of Unreal. Once it's all imported, maximize this window. I can select this ASB, which is an assembly file, click Rebuild Hierarchy, and I've got my object out in the scene with materials assigned as they were in Blender. If I select this ASB, I can clear it, rebuild it, and if I were to grab a second one, drop that into the world and rebuild, I can have as many of these out in the world as I want. Shift things around, and rebuild. Shift things around. And that's it for today.